You're watching the Sporting Time Show with host Doug Thompson. Sponsored by Jewelry Barn and Pawn Shop.
Good evening and welcome to the Sporting Time Show, and happy 4th of July to you and your family. Welcome in, and of course, everybody has that go-to friend, that person that just always has your back, never lets you down. Well, he's here with me today, helping co-hosting the show, Mr. Brandon Phillips himself. How are you?
It's good to be here. I thought you were going to say he wasn't available, so you called me.
that would have been good.
That's something that we would say, but it's good to be here.
Yes, well, you know, I'm just not that quick on my feet
Happy
anymore.
4th of July.
Same to you. 4th of July. Now, you have two sons.
Right.
Do you get into the 4th of July? I mean, I'm sure they've moved on from sparklers, not sprinklers.
No, they still appreciate a good sparkler.
Do they?
Yeah, I think the oldest one now is to the point where he can actually light some himself. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's very exciting to him. The younger one just enjoys watching. But I was actually, that's right, but I was thinking about you now that with the grandkids, I'm sure the sparklers and the fireworks are of great interest at your house, or at least at the family's.
Yeah, I think we'll probably wait maybe another year or so before we introduce the pyro stuff. But, you know, in my neighborhood, they start fireworks off about June 20th.
I was going
right?
to say,
you know, the M80s and whatever
Yes.
else. It sounds, you know, horrible. But, yeah, I think we'll probably just kick back and just, you know, maybe grill some hot dogs and do some things like that tomorrow and Monday and just enjoy it.
That's so 4th of July of you.
Well, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. And, of course, you know, Brandon, this time of year, we've been through this so many years. This time of year, we've got Little League Baseball, which you and I are going to talk about, and you are
Right.
very much informed on Little League Baseball. We've got some soccer you and I are going to talk
Right.
about. But it's a time for high school sports where it's quiet.
Right.
You know, it's the, well, Terrence said dead period last week, but it's the quiet period.
What's interesting, and you would know better than I because you have your finger on the pulse of this, I know the dead period is probably something that year over year all of the coaches and athletes and families look forward to. But after the previous year of having an extended dead period, I'm curious to see if it's as welcome this year. I'm sure everybody's ready to go for fall sports and get going, but it's a nice time to unwind and prepare for the grind that is high school athletics once things start up in a few weeks.
Well, it happens so quickly. I mean, there's literally no separation now between sports. I mean, it comes
Right.
so quick. And last year, they didn't have the dead period. They did away with it to give football an opportunity to practice and do some things that they wanted to do. But I think July 12th is the end. It may be the 13th, but it's right around there.
Well, and what a difference a year makes. I remember you and I and many others in high school athletics were sitting around watching live YouTube videos of the KHSAA just to try to figure out what the options were and what everybody would be able to do.
Yeah.
And so certainly now it feels like there's a sense of normalcy. We have our dead period, and then we get to fire up business as usual for fall sports, and that's an exciting time for you, and it's an exciting time for the families and the student athletes.
Exciting, absolutely, because it's so nice to see fans back in the stands for softball and baseball, and the kids being able just to play. And,
Right.
and they had a very successful basketball season this year. Many states didn't get to do what Kentucky did. Those kids had to wear masks on the court, some of them.
Well, and it seems like another lifetime, but when you think back to this time last year, you also had this scenario where you couldn't be in groups. And so high school, middle school coaches and others were trying to find facilities and scenarios where they could be in groups of 5 or groups of 4 or groups of 8 or whatever the case may be. So it was just very fractured. It was very challenging, which we all understand. And so I think this is just a welcome sign of relief and return to normalcy.
Yeah, and of course, once football starts up, they're going to get back to the 7v7s and
Right.
the 3v3s and the lineman competition and the football media day, Sporting Times Football Media, Paul Prep Media Day. Football Media Day will be Saturday,
Which is
August 7th,
awesome.
which is a Saturday, and we're gonna expand it. I think we're gonna have like 21 teams this year.
Really?
Yeah, we're gonna invite Hart County, Caverna.
That's awesome.
Because
It's a great time.
They're geographically they're close, right?
Yeah.
The Russell counties come, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think, Bowling Green is certainly a hub to a lot of communities, not just those schools that are represented in the 4th region.
Yeah.
And it's a neat event. Anytime you can get coaches and student athletes together, passionately talking about what they do and what they enjoy, it's always a good time. And it's the more the merrier.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We are going to live stream it. We're going to take a short break now, though, and when we come back, Brandon and I are going to talk Little League Baseball, some professional soccer right here in Bowling Green. We'll be right back. Sporting Times, WNKY. Welcome back. Well, my next guest in 12 seasons as the head coach of the softball program has never had a losing season. He also has had 2 back-to-back state softball appearances in 2018 and 19, of course. We all know what happened in 2020. I'd like to welcome to the show now the head coach of the Warren East Lady Raider softball program, Philip McKinney. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate you.
11 seasons of actual play, never had a losing season, Coach, and probably
we've come close a couple of times.
Yeah, but it's okay because you were still above 500. And again, this season, we'll get to that in a second, Coach. But I started looking back at your tenure at Warren East. It's hard to believe it's been 12 seasons that you've been there. It seems like just yesterday.
Yeah, no, it's flown by, honestly. Got the job in the fall of 2009 in September. And Coach Burking finally, decided to step down and move on. And so I got the job late, and some of the schedule was done, some of it wasn't done. And all of a sudden now it's February 15th and we're starting that spring of 2010, and had a great group of seniors and juniors and made it to the regional semifinals my first year. Got beat by Barron County in extra innings on a walk-off hit. And now all of a sudden you fast forward and it's been 11 seasons, 12 years. And I can tell you a whole lot what happened in that regional semifinal game in 2010.
Yeah, and I know that you ran really hard when you first took over at Warren East with the club softball that you were affiliated with. Do you still do club softball and travel softball as much as you did back when you started?
Yeah, I mean, I started, how I got into coaching was because of my sister. There's 19 years difference between me and my sister. She's going to turn 29 this fall. So when she was about 7 or 8, I started coaching her. I played a little college ball down at Martin Methodist Junior College. Now they're at NAIA school. Come back home, start playing slow pitch softball like a lot of former baseball players do. When my sister started playing, I got tired of playing the slow pitch and staying up all night, playing slow pitch in these tournaments. So I wanted to coach her. So that's how I got into coaching. And I started a travel team when she was 8 years old. So I'd already been, my first year of coaching high school ball, I was coaching with my dad down at Russellville. He was a head baseball coach for about 38 years.
Wow.
But I'd already been doing travel ball for, I don't know, about 7-8 years already.
Yeah.
But I spent 2 years down in Russellville in 03-04. And then I was the head assistant coach at Greenwood for softball for Coach Reese in 05 and 06. But I'd already been doing travel ball by that time for 10, 11 years.
Do you feel like you've slowed down at all, or?
Oh, no, no. After this dead period, we've got 3 World Series that we're going to, one in Clarksville, one in Owensboro, and one up by Chicago. Our travel team now, we've got 2. One's an 1800 team and one's a 1200 team. Well, our 1200 team is all Warren East kids. And that's what happened when I got the job at East. I used to have kids from Tennessee, like Clarksville, Tennessee, Portland, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I'd have kids from E-Town and all over. When I got the job at East, I thought, you know what, I'm tired of trying to help these other kids that I've got to try to beat later in high school. So now my travel program since about 2012 has been nothing but Warren East kids, or we try to. We'll take a few kids that, if they don't have a place to play and we need maybe a pitcher or a catcher or whatever, we'll pick up a few from other schools. But majority of our travel teams are made up of Warren East kids. And no, I'm still going as hard as I did back in 03, 04, 05.
Well, Coach, sit tight. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the 2020 season that didn't happen and the incredible 2021 season. Stay tuned. More with Coach McKinney right here on WNKY NBC 40.
You're watching the Sporting Time Show on WNKY 40 NBC. And remember, like us on Facebook and follow ST on Twitter. Check out stfanclub.com. For the athletes, for the game.
Welcome back again. Philip McKinney, the head softball coach of Warren East Lady Raiders, is our guest. And of course, what a great background, Coach. You got the pool. That has come in handy the last few weeks, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. And that's that's what us coaches do during the dead period. We just hang out by the pool.
That's a good idea. I don't think all coaches have that opportunity, but I'm glad you do. They should. Coach, 2018, 2019, back-to-back state final appearances. We roll into 2020. Obviously devastating, but for a team that was going back for a three-peat, what was that like for you? And I know you are so competitive, but what was that like as a coach?
Well, those four seniors, they're very competitive also.
Yeah.
Shelby Trent, Olivia Price, Kelsey Sparks.
Oh, yeah.
And Haley Heimer. I had coached all four of those girls since they were 5 years old. And, you talked about travel ball earlier. That's where it started with them. And, they won back-to-back middle school state championships their 7th and 8th grade year. They played for 3 regional championships. They win back-to-back regional championships. Then they're also back-to-back state runner-up. For them not to get a senior year just to see, it was heartbreaking. I hurt for them, it was tough. And that's just our story. Every school across the state had a story. Yeah. It was just a shame that the spring sports, that we didn't have enough information on what was going on. I think if we'd had more information, I don't think we would have been shut down. But this was new. The virus was new. No one really knew what was going on. So it was like, it's just better just to shut everything down. Yeah,
no question. In hindsight, definitely. And Coach, you fast forward to the 2021 season, and this rivalry with South Warren, I think, started, 2017, but maybe a little bit earlier than that. But, you look at your schedule and what you did, you had, 5-game win streaks, and you had a couple losses, and you had 4 win streaks. And, you went up against South Warren 3 times, twice very close. 1 game wasn't. But if you know the history of the rivalry going into postseason, it had to be a level playing field. And I made a joke about you guys doing a rope-a-dope, which, a lot of people don't know what that reference means. But what was the attitude like going into that game with your girls?
Well, and we also had a 6-game losing streak, and you didn't mention that, and things got a little testy in the dugout and stuff because we were frustrated. Yeah. I will tell you real quick a little story how tight Warren East and South Warren is in softball. The very first game we ever played was in middle school because the school opened up. South did in the fall, and we played middle school in the fall. The very first middle school game we ever played against South, we tied.
Yeah.
If that's any indication of of what's going to happen in the future. Yeah, I mean, the first time we played South, we threw Emma Markham, our best pitcher, and we got beat 1-0. The next 2 times we played them, we didn't throw Markham. There was no reason to throw Markham. We had a plan all year. Our plan was for them not to see Markham 3 or 4 times if we were fortunate enough to get out of the district. And then we were going to play about 14, 15 different kids. But we had so many different faces. Yeah. We went for sure. We knew Lucy Patterson being center. We knew Harley Stringfield would be behind the plate. We knew Emma Young would be somewhere and her bat would be in the lineup. And we knew Markham would be in the circle majority of the time. But that was it. Yeah. And we had to give several kids different chances. And because of it, our regular season record wasn't as good as it has been, but that was okay. We were going to get the best lineup that we could get, playing at the best time at the end of the season, and roll the dice and see what happens. And we had to beat a top 20 team just to get out of district.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it was amazing.
Yeah,
Coach, I mean, we've got about 35 seconds left, and I just want to ask you, our photographer got some great photos of you in that championship game. You still can get some air jumping up, but you can just see the joy on your face, and just give us about a 20-second wrap, Coach.
Oh my gosh, it happens so quick. Riley Carter, we sub her in, she gets a base hit. We bring in a 7th grader to run. There's a pass ball, and Cam Deal goes to second. And then when Lucy comes up, the second pitch, she hits it down the left field line, and we win region. It happens so quick, but we've had some really awesome moments at Western Kentucky University in the 4th region over the last 5-6 years.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Congratulations. That wraps it up for us. When we come back, Brandon Phillips and I wrap things up on this 4th of July Sporting Time Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I want to thank again my co-host today, Brandon Phillips, for filling in for Taryn Johnson, who should be back next week.
Hopefully.
Yeah, he's been very busy with WKU and everything that he does. But I want to talk about a couple things. One, really, I want to mention the Bowling Green Football Club, the Lions, right? It's the Golden Lions.
Correct.
Professional soccer, first year here in Bowling Green. You actually got to go watch
them play.
I did.
Yeah, so I was I was out there both to watch the match, and there was an event for junior achievement, so I had an opportunity to watch the championship match, and the team is extremely impressive, and certainly a lot of folks involved. Craig Widener, which we know from our days, he's back coaching Bowling Green High Soccer, but we knew him from his first stint as well. And I would just tell you, and I'm speaking from the layman, but physically, just an incredible team. In their first year as a franchise, they've had tremendous success. They're advancing to the round of 32. Yeah. And just having the opportunity to watch them that day, I was extremely impressed. And they have tremendous crowd and fan support for an organization that's still so young.
Yeah, I was looking at the roster. Of course, they have a lot of young Bowling Green players.
Right.
They also have, I think, a player from Germany, Bosnia, international roster. But I noticed one player in particular stood out. We got to get him on the show. Coach Aaron Ray is a player on that team, and he is the eldest on that team. I won't mention his age. He's still very young, but in soccer years, he's really over the hill.
Yeah, I don't know if they age similar to dogs, but from that standpoint, he is certainly the most senior on that team. But I would tell you, physically from top to bottom, just in the match that I saw, which was the championship match.
Yeah.
This is the best of the best for that region. They were the physically superior and dominating team.
Yeah.
And so what they've been able to piece together in a short amount of time is very impressive.
Well, they travel on July 10th to play their round of 32, their first round game. We'll keep everybody updated on Sporting Times Twitter and Facebook, and we'll get them in here. Very
That'd
interesting.
Be awesome. Good guys.
One of the things about summer is Little League Baseball. It is great. I may go back to the Little League World Series if we get a local team in, but Brandon, I know you are very much involved I believe, what's your title of Bowling Green?
Yes, so I'm the president of Bowling Green East Little League, and it's a really good year for Bowling Green, not just in soccer, but the district tournament was hosted here over the last weekend and the few days. And this is the year from a rotational standpoint for the state of Kentucky that Bowling Green will host the state tournament as well at Ephraim White. Opening ceremonies are July 15th, and the games start and run for the next 4 or 5 days. But not only would it be good for you to come out and check it out because it's local, but we have local teams representing the area in every age group. So in the 10-year-old All-Stars, Bowling Green East was able to win the district championship 17-2 to advance to the state championship game. And also in the 10-year-olds, Warren County South will also advance as well. So both teams that made the finals have an opportunity to play in state. In the 11-year-old age group, Bowling Green East was able to win a nail-biter in 8 innings, just a dramatic game back and forth with Owensboro Southern. They win 7-5, which you know Southern has a great program to advance. And then in the 12s, Warren County South has a really good 12-year-old all-star team this year. They were able to hold off Owensboro Southern 10-8, so both teams will advance to state. And of course, when you think about Williamsport, that's your 12-year-old group. So Warren County South has a very good team, and they're very hopeful to continue to advance and possibly make it to the Great Lakes.
Yeah, and of course, you saw some pictures of the 10, 11-year-olds up there that we have. And Brandon, of course, Little League World Series, you've been, I have been. I had no expectation going there. I had no idea what it was going to be like. I was there to cover a team. But I walked away with wanting to take, my grandson there just to watch because it's an amazing thing to be at.
Once in a lifetime. It's absolutely, if you're a sports fan, if you're a baseball fan, certainly if you're a youth baseball fan, you need to get to Williamsport. This year, there will not be international teams. However, they will take 2 U.S. teams, so the champion and the runner-up from each region. So it's just an increased opportunity for teams in the United States to have an opportunity to go to Williamsport. And we had an absolute blast. And, I'll tell you this, Coach Thorpe, who coaches the BG East 11s, has done a great job. The BG East 10s, there's a name you may have heard, Rick Kelly and Jeff Goodnight.
Oh, yeah.
So they took that 2019 team, and they're back at it with the 10s. And, of course, best of luck to Jason Price and the group at Warren County South as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Congratulations to everybody. Brandon, thank you very much for filling in again today. Great having you. We're going to have you back here again. Good luck to all the Little League teams. Again, Football Media Day, Paul, Gray, Prep Sports, Saturday, August 7th. I do want to give a shout out to my grandson who turned 3, Jackson Wayne Myers. Happy birthday. Papa loves you. Have a great 4th of July. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place.